wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
All right, morning, everybody. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Oh, there we go. All right, let's start off with some quick scores. Yesterday, the first NFL game was 9:30 in the morning. That's because they played in London. The Vikings beat the Jets 23-17. The Bears beat the Panthers 36-10. Commanders beat the Browns. The Jaguars beat the Colts. The Dolphins beat the Patriots. The Texans beat the Bills. The Ravens beat the Bengals. The Cardinals beat the 49ers. Packers beat the Rams. The Cowboys beat the Steelers. The Giants beat the Seahawks. And the Broncos beat the Raiders. Now, I just got to do some quick other scores as well. WNBA, Liberty finished off the Aces 76-62. And the Lynx and the Sun tied the series at 2-2. The Sun won 92-82. And some quick baseball. The Guardians beat the Tigers 7-0. The Mets, they lost last night, right? 7-6. Game 2, the series is tied 1-1. And the Padres and the Dodgers, the series is tied with that as well.
And the Saints and the Chiefs play tonight, too, at 8:15.
Yep, the Saints and
Monday
the Chiefs
Night
play
Football.
at 8:15 on Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football don't hit the same because football comes on all the damn time now. So it's Thursday night, it's Sunday night, you know. So then
It used
Monday
to only
now.
just be Monday?
No, it used to be Sunday and Monday.
Oh, okay.
All right, morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Happy Monday, y'all. So we are on hurricane watch again. Hurricane Milton is quickly increasing as it moved towards Florida. Milton is expected to hit Florida as a major hurricane, Category 3 or higher. Now, FEMA's administrator says the agency is ready for the tropical storm that's expected to slam Florida as a hurricane this week. Deanne Criswell from ABC's This Week told ABC's This Week, FEMA is funneling resources into the state and coordinating with local officials. Criswell also pushed back against rumors circulating on social media and from the Republican administration that the agency is underfunded because resources are going to assist undocumented immigrants. Now, she insisted these rumors are not true and aren't helpful to recovery efforts from that of Hurricane Helene. Now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he is advising those in the storm's path to evacuate, cautioning that time is running out to prepare. He also declared a state of emergency in 15 counties in preparation for that storm's landing. Now, Vice President Harris, she was in North Carolina over the weekend surveying the damage left by Hurricane Helene. She spoke to local officials before being briefed about the ongoing recovery efforts across the state. Let's hear from Vice President Kamala Harris.
The work that's happening here that is so positively impacting so many people is really an example of the best we can do when we bring resources together at the federal, state, and local level. And so I thank everyone for all the work that they've been doing, those who are in the room and those who are out there right now working around the clock.
You know, it's actually nuts that at a time like this, FEMA has to, take the time to debunk lies created by the GOP. Like, I know it's election season, but everything can't be politicized. Like, this is a natural disaster. People are dead. People are hurt. People are injured. People need help. It don't matter if they Democrat. It don't matter if they Republican. Just figure out how to help them. Like, I don't like when they use that, and politicize it and weaponize it, just to get at their political opponents. That's whack.
Absolutely. So more than 225 people have died and hundreds are still missing as a result of this storm. This comes as the Biden administration has released $100 million and 500 active duty troops to help. And that's just for North Carolina alone, the search and recovery efforts and, of course, hurricane relief. That money will help the North Carolina Department of Transportation for immediate repairs. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said they're providing the initial round of funding, so there's no delay to getting roads repaired and reopening and reestablishing critical routes because there is still devastating flooding and huge traffic backups in North Carolina. Now, during a rally in Juneau, Wisconsin on Sunday, that's when Trump doubled down on those comments regarding disaster relief efforts, saying that they remain underfunded as the Biden administration spends money elsewhere. Let's hear from former President Trump in Juneau, Wisconsin.
They send hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign nations. And you know what they're giving our people? $750. This is the worst response to a storm or a catastrophe or a hurricane that we've ever seen, ever.
Yeah, and he's actually compared that. He said it's worse than even that of Katrina. This was Trump's fourth appearance in Wisconsin in the past 9 days. Of course, he's in those swing states making a push to get voters to vote for him. So the Biden administration, of course, responded to these, calling them bald-faced lies and saying that they were, of course, like you said, Charlamagne, using Hurricane Helene to lie and divide us and, politicize that issue.
And the $750 is true, but that's just the beginning thing. Like the problem is you got to apply for anything else you need.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's the serious needs assistance, which is $750. And it does go to essentials like food, water, baby formula, breastfeeding supplies, anything else. But also that's not, like you said, that's just the start of it. That's one of many assistances being offered to those people being impacted by the storm. So we'll continue to talk about that. Trump also came back to Butler, Pennsylvania, that location where he had that assassination attempt on his life in July. So we'll talk more about that at 7 a.m. Can't get enough about former President Trump today.
All right. Thank you, Morgan.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess. And let's get in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports. Yesterday, 9:30 in the morning, which I actually love. The Jets played the Vikings. They lost 23-17. They were playing in London. The Bears beat the Panthers 36-10. Commanders beat the Browns. The Jaguars beat the Colts. The Dolphins beat the Patriots. The Texans beat the Bills. Ravens beat the Bengals. Cardinals beat the 49ers. The Broncos beat the Raiders. My Giants beat the Seahawks last night, 29-20. Packers beat the Rams. Cowboys beat the Steelers. That game was delayed, so it didn't actually start until like an hour and a half to after.
Delay is not denial, though. Delay is not denial. My Cowboys won 20-17. We on the road to the Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah, that game didn't finish till like after 1 a.m. And then Monday Night Football, the Chiefs take on the Saints at 8:15. WNBA, the Aces lost to the Liberty. They're out of here. Liberty beat them 76-62. The Sun and the Lynx, they tied the series in Major League Baseball. Mets lost to the Phillies. This game, too, is the series is tied 1-1. And the Padres tied the Dodgers, so the series is tied for them as well.
By the way, we're not talking about how fantastic that finish was with the Cowboys, okay? Dak Prescott threw a touchdown with 20 seconds left.
You didn't see it. You were sleeping.
To win the game. There's no such thing as instant replay in the morning? You
no.
idiot? Shut up.
Nope. I didn't
Dallas Cowboys, with 20 seconds left,
no,
game-winning touchdown. Okay, drop on the cruise bomb for Dak Prescott, then. Lunch.
Good morning, Morgan.
Mike, can we talk about what's really important here? No,
how did your team do this weekend, Morgan? I'm just curious. Y'all won?
Oh,
Ravens
no,
won.
the Ravens did. They stressed me out, but we came out with a W, so I'm good.
Ravens
and
look
other home
good.
team, the Washington Commanders, they looking good. So, yeah.
I don't like you having two teams, but Ravens look good.
Commanders look good, too.
I was going to say the one look, I'm going to give you one. That's why you was looking for a team. I'm going to give you one of mine.
Okay.
Let's get into it. Former President Donald Trump. Yeah, so he was back in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday for the first time since the assassination attempt on his life in July. Now, he spoke to a crowd of nearly 100,000, saying there's no place he'd rather be. Let's hear from Trump in Butler.
You know, I could right now be having a beautiful life. I don't have to be here. I could be on a gorgeous beach someplace. I have such nice property. I could be in Monte Carlo as an example, but I'd rather be in Butler with you. Our movement to make America great again stands stronger, prouder, more united, more determined, and nearer to victory than ever before. We're going to make America great again.
Yeah, so Trump talked about how the shooter did not succeed in his attempt, and he thanked Secret Service agents who protected him that day, calling them heroes. He also spoke about the firefighter who was killed while shielding his family during the shooting and asked for a moment of silence. Now, Elon Musk was also at that rally. He also spoke briefly, claiming the American democracy would be lost if Trump doesn't win, adding the upcoming presidential election was the most important election of our time. Now, both Trump and Musk implored the crowd to make sure that their voter registration is up to date. Of course, massive security was put in place for this event. Secret Service saying the Republican candidate received heightened protection. Law enforcement presence was highly visible throughout the rally and included drones and additional uniformed officers and counter snipers. Now, meanwhile, Republican vice presidential nominee and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, he rallied in Georgia over the weekend where he called out Vice President Kamala Harris, saying under the Biden administration, Americans have been having a hard time having hard choices to pay for things like food, their credit cards, bills, and things of that nature. Let's hear more from J.D. Vance's rally in Georgia.
Maybe if we've been in politics for 30 years, we could stand as the sitting vice president and tell people that we're going to do something on day one. Well, Kamala Harris, you've been vice president for 3.5 years. Day one was 1,400 days ago. What the hell have you been doing? If the future presidency of Donald J. Trump represents anything, it is that we are getting back to stamping more products made in the USA. We're going to make our own stuff, and we're going to do it with American working people.
Yeah, so on the other side of the aisle, Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz, he sat down for an exclusive interview with Fox News Sunday, and he talked about how Israel should respond to last week's missile attack by Iran. Now, Walz insisted Israel does have the right to defend itself, but he wouldn't say whether Israel should retaliate by striking, Iranian nuclear facilities or oil fields. Let's hear from Governor Walz on what's happening with Israel.
Specific operations will be dealt with at the time, but being very clear on this, Iran, there was consequences for what they do. That's what's happening right now. Israel's right to defend itself is not in question. We need the hostages returned, and we need to bring an end to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
He went on to say the U.S. should work to de-escalate the situation and promote a peaceful solution. He noted that Harris's campaign support for Israel. And of course, against this comes after Iran launched nearly 200 missiles at Israeli military and intelligence facilities last week in response to an assassination of Hamas's and Hezbollah leaders in Iran and Lebanon. Any thoughts?
One place where I think they mess up in regards to messaging, like, you'll listen to a lot of reporters and they'll be talking to Trump or J.D. Vance and they'll be talking to them about things that are happening right here in America. Because it is an election season right here in America. So it's so many things that we care about here, right? So it's always America first. But then, you go to Tim Walz and they're asking him about geopolitical politics. And I think a lot of times that makes them sound, very out of touch. That makes them sound very out of touch to what's actually going on right here in America.
Or talking about things that's happening overseas and not talking about what's here. But that's what they're being asked.
Exactly. Not saying that stuff is important, but that stuff gets highlighted over, what's happening right here in this country. And when you hear the Vances and the Trumps talking about what's happening here at home and saying things like America first and make America great again, that messaging sometimes resonates a lot more.
Absolutely.
Not sometimes, it does resonate a lot more.
Because people they live in it.
Exactly, because you saw what happened in North Carolina. As soon as I think this weekend they announced how much money they were sending to, I think it was Lebanon. People got outraged. They was like, yo, what about us right here in North Carolina? So like that America First messaging goes much farther, especially during election season.
Yep.
Y'all aren't the only ones concerned. Of course, President Biden, he's concerned about the upcoming election. He made comments during his first appearance at the White House briefing room as president, basically saying that the things that Donald Trump is saying is dangerous. But I won't get too much into that. There's so much more news to talk to y'all about, and I'll be back tomorrow with more. That's your Front Page News. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on social at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, make sure you check out the Black Information Network, download the free iHeartRadio app, and visit BINnews.com. Thank y'all.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.